So you've been in Terraria, and you're left with an empty, longful dread for more. And to fill whatever void that's left in your heart, you've seen these modded clips that show these insane mods, such as Calamity, Overhaul, or the Stars Above, but it just seems too overwhelming or convoluted. Or perhaps you have gone through one of these mods, but you get into the late game and you just lose the motivation because there's either too much to do or too little to do. Perchance it could be that you want to experience more Terraria, but not a different game entirely, as some of the massive mods do. You want to experience something that feels grounded and follows the same beats of progression that the base game follows. And trust me, I've had that itch too every once in a while, and it can be frustrating to deal with when you're new or inexperienced with the modding community. But here I am, the messiah you all need, ascending from the clouds. I am here to enlighten you Nimrods into becoming scholars of modded Terraria. A crash course, if you will. This will be split into 3 parts. Modded Terraria, which is this video, modded Terraria, and modded Terraria. I'll explain what the difference is later. In this video, I'll explain how to make an effective and simple mod pack that keeps the authentic Terraria feeling and doesn't deviate too far from what could be grounded into a Terraria update or something similar. Think of it like Terraria 2 perhaps. Now, there's a lot of factors when it comes to making a fun mod pack, all of which will be discussed in their own part of this video. And at the end I will tie them all together. If you're struggling about a specific part of making a mod pack, you can skip to one of the timestamps on the screen or in the description. But before I get into how to make a good Terraria mod pack, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, like the video, trying to get 100 subscribers before December 31st, which is my birthday, and it'll mean a lot to me. So yeah, let's get into it. This is short, but it's either the most important part or the least important part, depending on how you play. It depends on your preference of difficulty, your favorite class, how many new things you want to learn, or how blurry the line is of modded Terraria to modded Terraria. Let's think about it like this. What is your favorite part of the game? Boss fights and the rewarding difficulty? The different classes and variety of gameplay? Exploration, biomes, and loot? Building? Damn nerds. Maybe all of the above. Well, me too, buddy, because wowee, there are a lot of mods to fill every single niche of content you want. But yes, there are a lot of mods that can fill all of these gaps generally, so I'm going to be talking about them to be the chunk of the mod pack. When I talk about a mod, there will be a star count out of 5 on how much I recommend using them if you're a new player. The stars do not reflect the quality of these mods I'm recommending, so even if a mod has 1 star, don't be afraid to try it out and experiment with it. I can't tell you what to do or not to do, as much as I hate to say it. I'm not the ultimate authority of Terraria. With that in mind, let's get into why we're here. Okay, I lied, but this is equally important too. Let's not jump the gun. You want to have fun, right? But grinding ain't that fun. Unless it is to you, more power to you, I guess. Quality of life, or QOL, is essential to any modded playthrough, because, especially for harder challenges, nobody wants to grind for potions, or bosses for a specific loot drop that's rare. QOL can alleviate some of that pain, making getting potions easier, faster, so you can get right into the fight without having to waste an hour or two fishing, looking for some plant that spawns in the most random conditions ever, farming items to spawn a boss you have to kill. The Fargo's Mutant mod is a part of a collection of mods created by Fargo Wilta, which is an essential mod that I recommend you add on any playthrough of the game. Its main purpose is to add in NPCs that you can buy stuff for convenience, such as the Mutant, who sells in boss summon items, the Abomination, who sells event summons, and the Deviant, who sells mini-boss or rare enemy spawns. There are more than those 3 that they've added, but those are the main ones I recommend. It does more than just add in NPCs, however. It adds in skybridge spawners, elevators, etc. Another key quality of life mod I recommend is essential for most playthroughs is the Alchemist NPC Lite. As the name suggests, it adds in NPCs of the Alchemist variety. They sell potions, obviously. The Operator NPC sells boss treasure bags when you've defeated them, which is useful for getting a drop, albeit they're really expensive. Now, not all quality of life mods have to do with actual in-game tangible stuff, sometimes it can be useful for organizing characters, such as the foldering, a Terraria sorting mod, which can let you fold your characters and worlds. My personal favorite is the concise mod, which makes all the mods in your library become little squares that don't take up too much space, as the name implies, becomes concise. You have some vanity mods, add in some cosmetics or something. I don't really use them that much, but you can. Terraria ambience, realistic sky, high FPS support, lights and shadows, and cooler item visual effect, one word, can make the game look amazing. World Link is a mod that lets you link your character to a world, so you can, with the click of a button, you can just go to your world from the character select menu and not have to search for it. Block's Death FX and Affy's Death Counter are a fun duo, as you can have a funny effect when you die, and you can also show how many times you've died. New Beginnings lets you start the game with a quick head start with whatever class you want to, or do something wacky like start the game in the underworld with infinite bullets and a boomstick, or start the game in hard mode. Pylons Prevent Evil is a mod that lets you energize a pylon to prevent the world's evil biome from corrupting the area around it. WikiThis is kind of a niche but useful for some mods, as you can directly look up something from in-game. Friendly NPCs Don't Die is really that, NPCs cannot die. Magic Builder is one of those mods for people who hate building and just want cool houses. Scaling Crowdedness is cool because if you have like 5 trillion NPCs in your world and you have nowhere to put them, they will get less mad at you when you put them in like a concentration camp for NPCs. Boss Cursor lets you see where the boss is with an arrow that points around you at the boss. Dungeon Bricks Crumble Faster is literally that. It makes all the dungeon bricks crumble faster and all at once and effectively and efficiently. So you don't have to waste your time mining it all out like you do in the base game. Wing Time UI is good for seeing how much wing time you have. I guess on that note, Summoner UI is also a great mod that lets you keep track of how many summons and sentries you have. Fargo's Best of Both Worlds and Advanced World Generation, give you more control over the way that the world is generated and often gives better results. Though keep in mind that these might bug out the game if you have some world altering mods in coordination with them. Fargo's Banner Boost lets you kill enemies you've already killed faster, allowing you to shred them later so they don't become annoying. Shorter respawn time is that, or shorter respawn time. Boss Checklist is a vital mod that I always have installed because it can show you key information to a boss, such as recommended time to fight them, how to summon them, and what they drop, and so on. Now these are some of the biggest ones that no matter what anyone says, you absolutely need these, okay? Basic automated vein mining, or excavator, either or, never both, depends on preference, but allows you to vein mine. Though or excavator is easier to whitelist something on and generally easier to use. Magic Storage is easily one of the best quality of life mods ever made. Gone are the days you need to build a whole house to store items and then organize them within chests. Magic Storage is easy to make and can be upgraded throughout the game, and can be used as any crafting station once you get them. Recipe Browser lets you look up any recipe or item and how to get them or how it's made. It's a really useful mod, especially for those who don't have a wiki page or any big source of information about it. Now, okay, those are some of the basic ones, but there is a caveat I should warn you about. Do not overdo it. There's a common meme in the modded Terraria community that people stack so much quality of life, the game plays itself, and then you lose motivation to play, and thus you're back in this loop. These mods that can do this, I will talk about them. Not to discourage you from using them, but do be warned, as remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Extra slot mods might be hated. Now, I actually like the wing one. I think that one's decent because it's pretty helpful, especially for Calamity and stuff like that. But for this instance, I wouldn't recommend it. And especially, no one needs a gauntlet, shield, or scarf slot. Like nobody needs this. Like what? Nobody needs these. Okay, sorry. Louis AFK. It's somewhat of a decent mod from what I've heard, but it's a little handholdy and it's a good alternative to Fargo's mod. It's just like it's every single one. I feel like the Fargo's mod give you more variety and you can mix match them better. Just be careful on what you do mix match, Because what I'm trying to say is that because something being too easy and brain dead, it's just not stimulating enough, and you will lose interest quickly. Difficulty is not a bad thing. It's okay to have a challenge or spend time focusing on something, because in the end the reward will feel a lot better. Keep in mind, before I move on, mods have configs, especially quality of life mods such as Fargo's mods. So make sure to check them out in the configuration settings to make them however you want to. Remember, your goal is to have fun. Finally, we can get onto the big stuff. So, we got our quality of life, and we have some idea of what we want with our modded Terraria experience. For this video, I will start simple. I will give some examples of what a good mod pack could look like. Now, we come to the main point in divergence for mod packs. Do we want a vanilla-esque experience, or do we want something different? This video is for the vanilla-styled mod pack, so we won't be adding anything like Calamity or whatever like that. But the crown jewel of any vanilla plus mod pack is Thorium. Thorium adds a lot without detracting from the overall feeling that vanilla Terraria gives you. Obviously, things are drastically different, but honestly, you can play the game the same way you did in base game and end up beating the game. Thorium adds in 2 extra classes, the healer and the bard. While both are classes that you can use in single player, it's actually a lot more fun to play them in support of someone in a multiplayer run. Thorium adds a plethora of bosses that feel like an extension to the vanilla game. The only time I really feel a difference is the post-endgame, when you have these insanely OP accessories and stuff, but who cares, that's fun. Aqueous is smaller than Thorium, but it adds in a bunch of stuff and cool bosses. It adds in a cool event that's sort of like an extension to those like star rain knights you get in base game, but except now you fight literal stars, you fight these giant orbs. It's a cute mod that I recommend to be great coordination that can be used in any situation. Echoes of the Ancient, another mod that's about the same size as Aqueous, and mainly adds in unique items that can be fun to use. I believe it adds in only 2 bosses and some post-lunar content. It's nothing particularly great, but it's pretty fun in coordination with other mods. That's what the whole point of this is. Secrets of the Shadows. This one is unique because it adds in a bar. That's right, the Void Bar. Unique mechanic that follows a ultra powerful weapons for each base game class. This mod adds in a lot of unique structure, so it may conflict with other mods. I haven't talked about. I'll talk about conflicts at the end. I'll talk about them later. Polarities. They haven't been updated yet. I don't know what the situation. I don't know what's happening with polarities. It's a great mod, or it was a great mod. When it gets updated, yeah, I recommend that too. It adds in a new dimension and some cool bosses that really fit the Thorium Terraria aesthetic. So yeah. Same with Retribution mod, not to be confused with Mod of Redemption. Retribution mod was a mod that hasn't been updated in quite some time actually, and I have no idea what they plan to do with it. But they did add in some cool items. Biome extensions and these supers, which basically let you do these super powerful attack or give you this super insane buff that had a cooldown. Mod of Redemption, on the other hand, is a mod that adds in a morality system of sorts, where depending on your action with bosses and other mechanics, you can either be good or evil, which alters interactions with later bosses and NPCs. It's a really unique concept that gives Terraria more RPG feeling and more streamlined progression, but doesn't detract from that feeling of vanilla Terraria, like how Thorium does. Fractures of Penumbra is a mod that I want to make a full review video of, but for this instance, it's basically like Aqueous, adding in some cool structures or biomes, but nothing too much overwhelming for the new player. Constellaria is a mod that adds in the new console exclusive stuff that was there pre 1.3, such as Okram and Lepus and whatever. Pretty much not much to explain. Homeward Journey is an interesting mod to say the least, adding in 12 bosses, a few of which have a dynamic difficulty depending on the world difficulty. It adds in 123 NPCs. According to the Terraria mod page, damn, it's sort of overwhelming to a near player, but it's whatever, it's nothing crazy. Remnants is a mod that completely overhauls Terraria World Generation, making it better, as I'd like to say. However, I wouldn't really recommend it here because it could completely break with the other mods, so this is only for those Terraria purists who want an alternative way to play the base game. Realm of Relay, is that how you say it? I don't know. Is a minor mod that adds in some eldritch stuff, mainly from Lovecraftian mythos, to add in some mechanics here and there and a new biome. It's an up-and-coming mod, so I'm sure there'll be some update in the near future. Fargo's Soul mod is the bulk of the Fargo's mod, adding in a whole new difficulty and whatnot. But I won't recommend it because it can become especially overwhelming on Eternity mode and all those other mechanics that go with that. I will save that for the modded Terraria video. Spirit mod is another thorium size mod that has received a lot of love recently, and I want to make a video on it too, but it adds in a unique quest system that allows you to explore the mod and its specifics without feeling lost, and just a lot of content in general. 3 events and new enchanting system to increase the strength of weapons and more. Actually, low-key, one of my favorite mods. Remnant of the Ancients, not to be confused with Remnants. Another thorium size mod that adds in a lot of content. Recommended. Macrocosm is a mod that adds in the ability to go to the moon. I made a video about it, go check it out. But essentially, it's not fully complete yet, hence the 2 stars. But it adds in a lot of stuff that can be overwhelming to a new player. It adds in strictly post-Moonlord content. Last but not least, Vitality mod. Vitality is another chunky mod that I recommend you try out. Perhaps not on its own, but in tangent with thorium for sure. Giving a vast array of new content that stems from different biomes, NPCs, and a WIP class, the Blood Hunter. Phew, that was a lot to cover. Now, time to move on to the next part and craft our very own mod pack to satiate all your needs and desires, so then you won't ever have to go outside. So remember how in the first part I talked about the overall vibe, the essential question? Well, you better have been taking Cornell notes, because now we're going to be applying that question here. This part is essential because you don't want to put too much or too little into the mod pack. Here I'll be making the most generic mod pack you can imagine. We'll be selecting 3 of the mods in the content mod section, and maybe a few from the quality of life section to make an effective, fun, but not too overwhelming mod pack for Terraria. I'll be choosing Thorium, Vitality, and Aqueous. These mods will keep the feeling of Terraria, but still allow you to experiment with new concepts such as new classes, bosses, and I don't know, maybe some other mechanics that are in there. I don't know. Trust me, once we get into Calamity, there will be a lot of mechanics to learn. As for quality of life, we'll stick to the essential ones, meaning recipe browser, magic storage, boss checklist, ore excavator, Fargo's mutant mod, and wiki this, because why not? You can use any of the language mods and graphics mods, but just in case for now, I wouldn't use them. You can add them mid playthrough if you'd like, but once you've done that, reload Tmod and go into the mod pack section and press save enabled as new mod pack. And now you have your mod pack saved. As far as I know, these mods are multiplayer friendly and your friend doesn't need these mods before they join your world, as all the server side mods will be instantly installed and then loaded when they join. However, to reduce errors and issues, make sure to export this pack and send it to your friend, or the list to your friend to download. That way it's more seamless. Oh, and right, maybe you should add advanced world generation, Fargo's best of both worlds, or enhanced world generation, that can guarantee structures like pyramids or enchanted sword shrines, so that grinds become more manageable and the game feels more fun and fluid. This shouldn't affect the 3 mods that we've used for the bulk of the content, but who knows. Just have some faith. Well, congrats. You've made your first, or if you've done this before and are looking for guidance, you've made your first non-Calamity, effective, and fun mod pack. I hope you've learned some stuff out of this, because I think I did. I've experienced this a lot myself, and as a self-proclaimed Terraria pro, I think it's fair I give some advice to help you plebeians out there. Anyways, yeah, this video took some time to make. Hell, I wrote more for the script than I did for my AP Lang argument of essay. So there's that. If you like what you saw, hit that like button, press subscribe. Stay tuned for the next 2 videos that should release set the course of the rest of December if everything works out. And until then, I am out.
Peace.